नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृतं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। श्रीमद् भागवत गीता chapter 9 text 29, isn't it?
Yes.
So the chapter title is The Most Confidential Knowledge. Samahang sarva bhuteshu na me dvesva sthita na priha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite tesu chapyam samaha equally disposed. Aham, I. Sarva bhuteshu, to all living entities. Na, no one. Me, to me. Dvesah, hateful. Asti, is. Na, nor. Priyaha, dear. Ye, those who. Bhajanti, render transcendental service. Tu, but. Mam, unto me. Bhaktya, in devotion. Mai, are in me. Te, such persons. Tesu, in them. Cha, also. Api, certainly. Aham, I. Translation. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One may question here that if Krishna is equal to everyone and no one is his special friend, then why does he take a special interest in the devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental service? But this is not the discrimination. It is natural. Any man in this material world may be very charitable disposed, yet he has a special interest in his own children. The Lord claims that every living entity in whatever forms is his son, and so he provides everyone with a generous supplies of necessities of life. He is just like a cloud which pours rain all over, regardless of whether it falls on rock or land or water. But for his devotees, he gives special attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. they are always in Krishna consciousness, and therefore they are always transcendently situated in Krishna. This very phrase, Krishna consciousness, suggests that those who are in such consciousness are living transcendentalists situated in Him. The Lord says here distinctly, Maite, they are in me. Naturally, as a result, the Lord is also in them. This is the reciprocal. This is also explains in words, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. Whoever surrenders unto me proportionately, I take care of him. This transcendental reciprocation exists because both the Lord and the devotee are conscious. When a diamond is set in a golden ring, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified, and at the same time, the diamond is glorified. The Lord and the living entity eternally glitter, and when a living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, he looks like gold. The Lord is like a diamond, and so this combination is very nice. Living entities in a pure state are called devotees. The Supreme Lord becomes the devotee of his devotees. If a reciprocal relationship is not present between the devotee and the Lord, then there is no personalist philosophy. In the impersonal philosophy, there is no reciprocation between the Supreme and the living entity. But in the personalist philosophy, there is. The example is often given that the Lord is like a desert tree, and whatever one wants from this desert tree, the Lord supplies. But here the explanation is more complete. The Lord is here stated to be partial to the devotees. This is the manifestation of Lord's special mercy to the devotees. The Lord's reciprocation should not be considered to be under the law of karma. It belongs to transcendental situation in which the Lord and his devotees function. Devotional service to the Lord is not an activity of this material world. It is part of the spiritual world, where eternity, bliss and knowledge predominate. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukhaṁ Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagan Raghunathan Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanitangscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschatadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is a very nice verse. You can please repeat after me. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me. and I am also a friend to him. Though this is a very important verse, and we have to understand that although there are three division in the spiritual world, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagvaneti, Sabdati. Just like if you are going in, if you are driving in dark on the road and you see some truck is coming from very far, you can see just two lights are coming. You can't see the truck. But as you come closer to the truck, you can see the truck. And as you come more closer, you can even see the driver. So, like that, this Brahma Yoti, the spiritual, from where the spiritual world starts, it is Niskriya, Nirgun. It doesn't react with anyone. It's Niskriya. Aham Brahmasmi. Then in Vaikuntha, there is a Dasya Bhav. And in Goloka, Krishna becomes the servant of his devotees. Krishna plays with his devotees. He is bounded by the devotees. So our Krishna consciousness movement is to take back everyone to Goloka. This is the highest path, topmost marg, which we are working. And Krishna here, he is promising that although I don't have any enemy and I am not envious to anyone, but still I am friend of my devotees. There is one nice example in Mahabharata when Bhishmadev, who was Senapati of Kauravas, one day he was chastised by Duryodhana that why is that you are not killing Arjuna? For you to kill Arjuna, it will not take even 1 hour. But so many days have passed and you are not killing him. It means that you are in favor of them. So, on that day, Bhishmadev promised that, okay, tomorrow I will kill Arjuna. And Krishna knows everything. So at night he went to Draupadi and he said, Draupadi, come with me very fast. And Draupadi was surprised at night time where the Lord is taking him. You know, in Mahabharata, some personalities were there who knew that Krishna was the Supreme Lord. Not all of them. Bhishmadev knew. But Draupadi, as she loves Krishna and she knew that Krishna has saved her in many different ways when Dushasana was pulling her saris, her clothes, Krishna helped her. So many ways Krishna helped them. So Draupadi, she were ready to go with Krishna. And she was dressing. Krishna said, you don't need to dress. Just come with me very fast. It's getting late. So Krishna took Draupadi. Krishna was going ahead and Draupadi was going behind. And Draupadi could not work on the sand. You know, his chappal, sandals were getting stuck into the sand. And what Krishna did, Krishna asked Draupadi to open the sandal and Krishna took it in his Pitvastra. And they both were going. So, as they entered into Bhishmadev's tent, Krishna taught everything to Draupadi, and Krishna remained outside. He didn't go inside. Draupadi went inside. She paid obeisances to Bhishmadev, and Bhishmadev gave Ashirvad that you may live very happily. Then Draupadi said, how can I live happily? Tomorrow you are going to kill my husband. What kind of boon you are giving? Bhishmadev was very clever. He could understand that this is not Draupadi's word. This is Krishna's word. Krishna is playing some game. So he looked outside and he could see Krishna's Pitvastra outside the door, So Bhishma went to the door and he just pulled the Pitvastra. And what was there in his cloth? Draupadi's sandal was there. And the sandal fell down. And then Bhishma took it up and he asked Draupadi, whose sandal is this? Draupadi said, it's mine. And Bhishmadev said, the Lord who is carrying your sandal, don't you think that he will protect your husband? So, although Krishna doesn't have any enemy, but he favors his devotee. He gives special mercy to his devotee. We are in ISKCON since many years. We all have, some sorts of experience by which we are still surviving in ISKCON. Although we are not in that perfect stage, we may or may not, but we all have some reciprocation with the Lord or with the deities, so that we are staying in ISKCON still. I don't want to share my personal experience, but everyone has with the Lord, with the deities. You can see in the example of Madhavendra Puri, when Gopal asked him to get chandan from Malayaja chandan, means chandan trees which grows in Jagannath Puri. And Madhavendra Puri was 80 years old at that time. Can you imagine? Now, I am not even 50. And if someone asks me to go to Jagannath Puri from Vrindavan by walking, this is impossible. And that Madhavendra Puri saw in his dream that Gopal is asking him to bring the chandan. So he left Vrindavan to get the chandan. Question is that, why did Krishna ask Madhavendra Puri to get chandan from Jagannath Puri? Did Gopal really need to cool his body from the chandan? Krishna doesn't need. Why did Krishna send Madhavendra Puri? To spread the message of his, spread the glory of his devotee. Otherwise, no one would know Madhavendra Puri, who was Madhavendra Puri. So to spread the glory of his devotee, Krishna sent him to Jagannath Puri. And while he was returning, you know all the story that he was in Remuna and the Gopinath, he kept one kheer, means condensed milk pot, specially for Madhavendra Puri. Here Krishna is saying, I am equal to everyone. But at the same time he says, I am friend to my devotees. So, this ISKCON society is built by Srila Prabhupada. It's a miracle. We all are sitting here, somewhere is from America, someone is from Germany, somewhere from France, someone from India. We all are sitting here is because of Srila Prabhupada. Once I was in Patna and I was crossing the road, and there were constantly vehicles coming from this side to that side, and I was unable to cross. The policeman, he caught my hand and he stopped all the vehicles and he helped me to cross the road. So one devotee was there with me. I said, this is because of Srila Prabhupada. He couldn't understand what I said. I said, actually we don't have any qualification. That policeman didn't know who I am. But he knew ISKCON, which is established by Srila Prabhupada. So we all are blessed by Srila Prabhupada. And we have to go to that position, in which position Krishna will listen to us. Suppose someone says that I know Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Everyone knows Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But if someone says that I know Prime Minister Narendra Modi, it means that Narendra Modi will listen to his words. Isn't it? Means he has different relation with Modi. So devotees who are in ISKCON, they knows that Krishna is the Supreme Person. But we have to make a relation with Krishna. We have to be in we have to be situated in such a relation that Krishna will reciprocate with us. And he does it. Here Prabhupada is mentioning, ye yatha mang prapadyante. Means, as we reciprocate with Krishna, same way Krishna reciprocate with us. Just few days before, Prabhupada is quoting in his daily quotes, simply by changing dress, one does not improve unless he seriously takes the principle of devotional service. Now we have changed our dress. But that does not mean that we are really devotees. We could be, but pardon? Trying, yes. Simply by changing dress, one does not improve unless he seriously takes the principle of devotional service. But in Kali Yuga, they will think, because I have changed my dress, I have become a big sannyasi. You see, because I have got a sacred thread, now I am a Brahmana. So there must be regular training. So people many times becomes puffed up when their dress is improved from white to saffron or to sannyasis or whatever it is. And people, when they are getting Brahman initiation, I am a Brahman. is this, we are nothing. We don't have any qualification. It's only because of Srila Prabhupada that he made us Brahman. Prabhupada said that in our society we are creating Brahmanas. How he is creating Brahmana? Do we have a machine that he is putting someone in the machine and is coming out from the other side, Brahmanas are coming out? No. He had made the system. You see, from the morning, from Mangalarti, from Japa class, Darshanarti, Guru Puja, Bhagavatam class, evening class, all the system he has made in ISKCON is enough to bring one to the state of Brahmana. But one has to follow all these steps, If you are forced to follow, then you will not be able to become Brahmana. You have to get some interest. When Krishna went to Duryodhana's, Dhritarashtra's courtyard to say that battle is not required. So he went to Dhritarashtra's courtyard. He could have stayed with Dhritarashtra or with Duryodhana. Duryodhana has arranged nice place for Krishna, but he didn't stay. He stayed with his devotee. With whom did he stay? Pardon? Yes, Vidura. He stayed with Vidura. And Vidura's wife was feeding him banana skin. And Krishna was satisfied with that. Krishna was happy with that. Because she was feeding in devotion. So Krishna hankers for devotion. He is waiting for our devotion. We are doing devotional activities, but no one knows what is going on in our mind. Last time when I gave class, I gave an example that 3 devotees were making a temple, and when the temple is completed, 3 of them fell down from the roof and they died. And one of them went to hell, and one of them went to heaven, and one went back home, back to Godhead, to Krishna. And the one who went back home to Krishna, he was asking Krishna, why did my 2 friends could not come with me to you? Why one has to go to hell and one has to go to heaven? And Krishna was saying that because the one who went to hell was making the temple to cheat. He was accumulating money. And the one who went to heaven, he was doing as a pious activities. Building a temple is very pious. And even if we go for collection for building a temple, normally karmis, they give money because they think that this is a pious activities. They don't know that this is spiritual activities. So they will not be able to go back home, back to Godhead. They will go to heaven, or they will get the next chance by which they can come back to Krishna consciousness. So that person went to heaven because he was thinking that he was doing some pious activities. And you were trying to serve me only. So that's why you came back to me. So although we all are doing the same devotional service, devotional activities, but the thing which we need to check, in which attitude we are doing the devotional service. Whether we are trying to please Krishna or we are somehow trying to get the name and fame. You know, in election, there is EVM machine. Have you seen EVM machine? There are many buttons for BJP, Congress, Janata Party. So many parties, there are buttons. So Maya has also EVM machine, and there is 2 buttons. One is Krishna's button and one is Maya's button. And he is recording our whole day's activities. How many times we are pressing Krishna's button and how many times we are pressing Maya's button. Maya's button means Atmendriya Priti Vansha Dhare Premanam. And Krishna's button means Krishnendriya Priti Vansha Dhare Premanam. So if we are pressing Krishna's button, means we are trying to satisfy Krishna. And if we are pressing Maya's button, means we are trying to satisfy ourselves. Whatever activities we are doing, even if you are driving scooter or 4-wheeler, whatever it is, if the attitude is to serve Krishna, then you are in Krishna consciousness. But if your attitude is to somehow do the activity and get some name or fame, and so that this devotee is doing great, we can promote him, we can give him some position in the temple. And if we have that kind of mentality, that means we are not trying to please Krishna. We are pressing Maya's button. And you know, pressing Maya's button means we are signing in a bond that I do hereby agree to accept all the punishment that Maya will give. Pressing Maya's button means that. Because this world is full of suffering, you know. Once one sannyasi was lying on the road, and some minister came and asked him to get up because the king is coming. So the sannyasi said, "What is the activity of the king?" The minister said, "He gives order to everyone." Sannyasi asked, "Does anyone listen to his order?" The minister said, "Everyone listened to him." So you also have to listen. You have to get up and sit beside the road at the corner. You can't lie on the road. It was night time. So the sannyasi said, "Can I speak with the king?" Said, "Yes, when the king will come, you can speak." So the king came, and the sannyasi asked, "You give order to everyone?" He said, "Yes." "And everyone listens to you?" He said, "Yes, everyone listened to me." Oh, he said, "Oh, every night while I am sleeping, a mosquito disturbs me. Can you tell him not to disturb?" king was defeated, Oh, but Lord can do. There is a place in Govardhan where Sanatana Goswami was doing bhajan, and he was disturbed by the mosquito, and he was trying to leave the place, and Shivji asked him that you don't have to leave, you stay here, no mosquito will disturb you. And still now there are no mosquitoes. So we can see everything's practical. So in this corona disease, we are thinking that we are so advanced, but how much advanced we are? How many people can survive eating this mobile for a day? No one can eat. We have to eat grains, and they are transforming the field into industry. And there will be shortage of grain. So in this way, the society is getting spoiled. So these things are for outsiders. But as we are inside of ISKCON in a society, our attitude should be always to serve Krishna from our mind. Physically we are serving, everyone is serving physically. But we have to see how many of us are serving internally in a serving attitude. Krishna sees that attitude. He doesn't see how perfect you are serving. He sees the attitude of the devotees. Even if it is imperfect, Krishna will accept, because he is bhavagrahi. But that doesn't mean that we have to do imperfect service. We have to do perfect service. The thing which I mean to say is, our attitude should be to please Krishna. And if we are serving in that way, Krishna will be with us. Prabhupada said that if we go one step ahead to Krishna, Krishna will come 100 steps away to 100 steps to us, towards us. So we have to put our step ahead to Krishna, and we can see that Krishna is reciprocating with us. Unless he is reciprocating, how are we surviving in ISKCON since so many years? And gradually we can see, if you see our past life, at least I know, although I came in Krishna consciousness when I was 15 years old, but before that I remember all my sinful activities, and whatever regulative principle I broke, I still remember. And now, even though I can't guess that how much spiritual progress I am having, but still if I see my back, even if I see 1 year before how I was, I can see my position. You all have experience to go on flight. So while you are going on flight, you will not be able to understand that you are moving from one place to another. You take the flight from Delhi to Mumbai, and on the way you will see that you are not moving, you are just on the same place. But as you get down in Mumbai, you will see you have come to another city. So in Krishna consciousness also, sometimes devotees, they feel that we are not having any progress. but progress is happening. If you see your back, how critical situation you were, how much sinful activities we were doing, and now by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, how much change has happened in our life. Any question? Yes, Prabhuji.
In this verse, if you see, Krishna is talking about the Dvesa, that Irsha or the envy. And he is speaking specifically in this word, Namedesustina Priya.
Yes.
I don't envy anyone.
Yes.
So can you stress a little bit, elaborate more on this particular word? Because he is emphasizing in this verse this envy.
Envy.
First question.
Yes.
And second, he says, they are in me and I am in them. So in a practical way, how do we understand that we are in him and he is in us?
Let me answer your second question first. So this is the highest perfection, that I am yours and you are mine. Ami to tomar, tumi to amar. This is a song by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. This is the main teaching of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And this is the main realization, that Ami to tomar, tumi to amar. Can anyone say the meaning of this sentence? Ami to tomar, tumi to amar. That is the translation. That is just the translation.
I am yours, you can do whatever you want.
Yes, exactly. I am yours. You can do whatever you want. Adarsanam, pinast. What is the slok? Others. Pinastumam adarsanam marmahatam karotuba. Jatha tatha va vidhato lampato mat prana nathastu sa evana para. So that is the final realization we have to have, that I am Krishna's. Now, if Krishna comes in front of us and asks us, why you are serving me? What answers would we give? Why you are following me? Can we say? Why you are if Krishna comes to, because before going to Krishna there will be many testings, and first of all, Maya will not allow us to disturb Krishna, and in the spiritual world there are many sakhis who will test us, and if we fail, we will not be able to go to Krishna. And Krishna, if he comes, or his sakhis, Lalita, Vishakha, whoever it is, if they come and ask us, why you want to serve Krishna? What is the answer? Pardon? Why? Why to please him? Why not to please your children or whoever it is in this material world? Why not to please the society? You see, you can also put Krishna in trap, you know. You can ask him, Krishna, is there any other way? There is no way. So, should I serve all this rascal? There is no other way except to serve Krishna. That we have to understand. There is no other way. Pardon? We are eternal servant of Krishna, and there is no other way. There is no other way. We are eternal servant. So there is no question why we are serving, because there is no other way at all. And these rascals, these outsiders, they don't understand this, that there is no other way. At least we have to understand, because Krishna is teaching us. So, Krishna is within us and we are in Krishna. It means that Ami to tamar, tumi to amar. Is to explain this, it will take 7 days at least to explain this verse, that I am yours and you are mine. But at least within 2 minutes we can say that is the highest realization we have to have. And can you repeat your first question, Prabhu? Then,
let's go to the second question itself. Relation is one part. You see, when we speak on Bhagavad Gita or Shastras, and there are many people listening, and they don't understand the high philosophy. They just want to be practical understanding.
yes.
From that point of view, if I think I am in Krishna and Krishna in me, in practical aspect, that was my request for Sunday. The first question was, he's talking about envy.
Envy, yes.
So, in this particular place, because there are two things he's talking about.
Hmm.
He's not talking about you are in me and I am in yours. He says, I am your friend and you are my friend also. And he's talking about envy also. So, some correlation, and why he's speaking of envy? He says that I am not envious to anyone. Krishna will not be envious to anyone.
Because he is not envious to anyone means he is providing everything who is not following Krishna consciousness also. If in the morning someone goes and speaks abuse language to the sun, and if someone goes and praise the sun will give the same light to the one who is using abuse language and to the one who is praising him. He will not make any distinction. So Krishna doesn't have any enemy, one who is criticizing him or envious. Krishna is not envious to him. But at that point when the soul becomes surrender, turn his face towards Krishna, immediately Krishna catch him and brings him back to him, and he makes friendly relation to him. And friendly relation means the highest form of friendly relation is tumi to amar, ami to tomar. That is the highest realization. Any other question? श्रीमद् भागवत गीता की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।